7 Days to Die, a game that has basically infected my life, slowly turning it from the inside out over a period of 7 days, till I expire and join the numberless ranks of the undead horde. Hey everybody, it's your good friend and musical pumpkin, and today I'm here to infect your eardrums and mind with the many reasons I love 7 Days to Die, a few things about the game that could use improvement, and directions I hope to go in the future. Starting off with the ability to alter the land. Minecraft, and by extension 7 Days to Die, may have birthed this strange love for a certain type of survival game, where I can manipulate not just the base I built, but the land it rests upon. Being an avid base builder, I love the ability to change the land in regards to my base, allowing me to expand and create a more zombie-proof layout. 7 Days to Die allows this, and I've browsed many amazing base pictures on their subreddit and just browsing through Google Images. There's some pretty dope looking bases out there. This perfectly encapsulates the original concept the devs envisioned when they first conceived this game, a game that was a hybrid of Minecraft and DayZ. Obviously, the ability to change the land was Minecraft's alongside with differing biomes, as aside from those key parts, the survival elements exclusive to both games were combined piece by piece to create the experience that is 7 Days to Die. Bear in mind, this will lead into DayZ's emphasis on PvP, as opposed to Minecraft, and how PvP is present in 7 Days to Die, but not really a focus. We'll get into that in just a bit. Next is varied zombie types. I just want to kick this off with saying I have no problem at all with old Romero-esque zombies. I, like many of those who love zombies, grew up on his first film, Night of the Living Dead, which debuted in 1968, and every movie since then that it inspired. I love it when the lineup of zombies coming to eat my face off is given flavor with different mutated variants, each with their own special capabilities. From the spider to the fat cop, the screamer, and the dumberman, the zombie lineup in 7 Days to Die has seen peaks and valleys, with old ones being replaced with new and improved versions over time. With the long-awaited A20 update hopefully coming sometime this year, new special types are supposed to be added, such as an official radiation type, as well as the fat Hawaiian or the gasser, finally being given his own place among the specials, not just among the uncommon zombies. What special types do is shake up the board and create complex threats for the player to have to prepare against. They're no longer just mowing down row after row of faceless common zombies. This will have to stand against the boomer types, the screamer types, and the tank types, as the zombies smash their big rotted arms against their walls and scream their lungs out to summon the horde. This forces the player to have to prioritize one zombie over another, but if given the right circumstances, this could prove a challenge for solo players and to some extent groups of players, but the latter might depend more on player skill and experience. With all this said, I personally want to see a tank type put into the game. I know there is the dumberman, which is basically a cross between a boomer and a tank, but I could use more tank and less boomer. Not to say I don't like the dumberman. There was originally the behemoth, which first appeared in Alpha 18, but it was a couple tiers above the special infected, as it only spawned every 70 days, and it only spawned one. Granted, this beast was tanky as hell, but it didn't quite fit the criteria, so I hope they add something like a tank at some point. They have talked about new zombie types, and the tank type could be among them, though only time will tell. Next is 7 Days to Die's PvP. As I said before, it's present in the game, although it's not really a focus. It was never really emphasized in the game as opposed to, say, DayZ. Online PvP servers do exist, but most people tend to play offline solo or with friends on a private server. I myself, like most of the player base, are split on whether PvP honestly belongs in the game. One major downside that turns most people away is offline raiding. Not a whole lot of players savor the fact that all their hard work and resources might be set on fire when they're not online because of either work or school. The same can be said for similar games like Rust or Ark. Other players prefer this type of play, where readily hiding your base from potentially hostile players is strongly encouraged. Personally, I think both sides make valid points. I wouldn't exactly like having all of my belongings in my base taken away from me without being able to do anything about it. But on the other hand, I like the idea of being kept on my toes and really thinking hard about where to put my base so that I won't be attacked. On some days, I do believe PvP has a place in this game, but I also wouldn't want the game flooded with toxic players who ruin it for those who actively enjoy PvP. Another thing to add to this is balancing. If you spawn into a PvP server that has been active for a long time, chances are the top players are maxed out, and any player seeking to stand even a chance against them will be hard pressed to catch up. A veteran player with level 6 maxed out everything will drop the god hand on any fresh player just getting in. For example, on a server that I have for a buddy and I, we are both maxed out and I am no longer scared of the zombies. They mean nothing to me, and I imagine a new player coming in would mean much less. This leads me into the weapons, namely the rocket launcher. I personally see this as a PvP focused weapon in the game. Despite what's been said to me, I don't see it as practical using it in PvE versus PvP. I see it as something to take out other player vehicles and player made fortifications. Hell, I think it'd even make a good ambush weapon. Anyways, I believe PvP has a place in 7 Days to Die, but I also see the downside to it. Again, both sides make valid points. Next is weapons. The selection isn't too large, but a new tier of weapons is going to be added in Alpha 20. The new tier is pipe weapons, or primitive firearms. These new ones will replace the blunderbuss and will allow newly spawned players to acquire firearms right off the bat as they work their way up towards the higher tier weapons. I hope they add more weapons at some point other than just the pipe weapons. Perhaps the advent of the new zombie types in the future updates will encourage some new ones. Who knows? And since we're speaking about the weapons, let's lead into the combat. You may see this as nitpicking, and I totally agree, but with that said, the combat isn't bad. It works, so hence, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I would say that it could use some improvement. I would like to see the same type of combat like, say, in Vermintide 2, that is very gory and smooth combat. I am only saying this because that I think a meat grinder with zombies and a narrow hallway with V2's combat would be pretty sick. It's just my own 2 cents though. The maps. Right now there are 3 maps: Navezgane, which is their default map, Muvuzu Mountains, and the Valoya territory. One more is to be added in the A20 update, and that is the Puglia territory. Now here's my take on the maps. Each has their own qualities that add and take away from the experience. If you want one that has few POIs, that you'd probably want to pick Muvuzu Mountains. If you want all POIs, then you'd probably want Navezgane. With that said, if you want some variety in your quests, namely the tier 5 ones, then you should probably pick Navezgane unless you want to go jump between Shamway and Shotgun Messiah factories. There is also random map gen, which just means you're at the mercy of the almighty seed generator. I will say though, there have been some dope seeds. There was one where the entire map was a city. It was pretty wild, but I heard it was a hankering on the hardware. And while we're on the topic of quests, please, oh please, fix the tier 5 quests. As I said before, if you want all the POIs and also variety in your quests, then you'll want to pick Navezgane. The quests on the other 2 maps aren't great, and you'll likely end up regretting not picking the default map, which has the Shong Tower. It's a tier 5 bad boy of a quest and will take some time to clear. I'm not spoiling it though, trust me, it's a doozy. Finally, with where I hope they go in the future, the devs have said they're going to add a horde mode, where either solo or with friends you defend against a single position from waves of zombies, similar to how COD Zombies works. This is a welcome addition and something I've been wanting for a while now, honestly. Getting into a server and building a base, scavenging for supplies is fun and all, but it's nice to drop into something that breaks up the monotony once in a while. Lastly, we may finally get a story for how everything in the game's universe ended up the way it did. While there have been theories of how it all came to be, whether it was magic, a science project gone wrong, like a virus escaping from a lab, or brought by a meteor, the devs have stated that a campaign is due to be added in the game, whether it's in A20 or later updates, so I am stoked to find out some point what initially caused the outbreak. Alright, that about wraps it up, folks. I will be leaving links to the game's main website, their main Discord, and mine as well as my Twitch channel in the description below. If you'd like to see more videos about the game, please let me know in the comments below. This was your good friend, the Musical Pumpkin, watching over your pumpkin patch. Good luck, Survivor.